Hello, everyone. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give people just a few minutes to join today as we're going to get started. But we're super excited to be here today and sharing more information about our Master of Advanced Management, our MAM program here at Yale School of Management. We're just going to wait a couple minutes as folks continue to join. I see that number continuing to increase. Maybe we can do some quick introductions in the meantime. My name is Evelyn Wilson. I'm the Senior Associate Director here at Yale School of Management for the Management Master's programs. And I'm joined here today by my colleague, Matthew Lassance. And over to you, Matt, to say hi.
Hi, everyone. My name is Matthew Lassance. I'm the Assistant Director of Admissions. Excited to be here, talk a little bit more about the Master of Advanced Management program, and hopefully get you excited to get your application started.
Great. Thanks, Matt. Yeah, so the Master of Advanced Management, or our MAM program here at Yale SOM, Yale School of Management, is a one-year degree program and it is fully in person. So at this time, we don't have any remote options or hybrid options for this program. And we say 1 year, but it's really about a 9-month program. The program runs from mid-August to the end of May. We only have one intake per year, so you would need to make sure to be able to start kind of mid to early August if this program is of interest to you. And it's designed to complement an MBA. So we're going to talk about all of these things in a little bit more detail, and it looks like lots of folks have joined us now. So I think we can move ahead and dive into our slides here. Um, so we're going to give a quick overview here about what the MAM program is, and then we're going to dive into all of these elements in more detail in this presentation today as well. As I mentioned, the MAM program is a one-year degree program that is designed to complement an MBA program. So everybody needs to have completed or be working towards an MBA in order to be eligible for the MAM program. And the curriculum is really customizable. Again, we're going to talk about curriculum more specifically in a few slides, but for now, just know that it's very customizable by you. So you really have the opportunity to select the courses and the areas of interest to you that you really want to focus on during your time here at Yale. You'll be joining a community of purpose. We are a mission-oriented school here at Yale SOM. Our mission is to educate leaders for business and society, and this is really something that's really important in in the whole environment of our school here, and it's really central to everything that you'll be doing here at Yale SOM. So again, joining a community of purpose is a really wonderful opportunity here at Yale. You will also have all of the privileges and opportunities that being a Yale student comes with. So, the opportunity to join our student clubs. We have over 50 student clubs available here at SOM, as well as all the clubs across Yale University. So, there's really a club for everything, and it's a great opportunity to join our clubs as an MAM student. Of course, we always have a multitude of events going on here at SOM and also across Yale. So there's no shortage of things to get involved with, conferences to attend or to be involved with. And of course, speakers. We always attract really amazing world-class speakers to come here to Yale. And so it's a really great place to get inspired and to really learn from some of the world's greatest in across every different field as well. So it's always exciting kind of seeing who's coming into town and who you can learn from today. Of course, you will also be joining the Yale University Network. So when you graduate from the MAM program, you will become an alum and join our huge alumni network, which are really active and very involved across the entire world. So lots of great opportunities here from the MAM program. So why would somebody pursue the MAM? Again, this is an opportunity to build off of your learnings in your MBA program and take it to the next level, take it to a global level. We hear from students that they would like to take a deep dive into an area of interest that they might have, perhaps a passion that they found through their MBA learnings or something that they might have experienced in their work experience. So it's a really great opportunity to dive into depth and detail and learn from some of the world's greatest industry experts here at Yale. So, a few examples here are listed in the blue box below, such as healthcare management, organizational behavior, entrepreneurship. We have lots of entrepreneurship opportunities and resources here at Yale. Fintech, the nonprofit sector, economics. These are just a few examples of, areas that you could dive into here at SOM. We also have the opportunity for students to explore new topics or interest areas and really broaden your horizons. So, if throughout your academic career you've always wanted to learn about a topic of interest or a new language or explore something in art or drama, this is your opportunity to do that. Through the MAM program, you have the opportunity to take any elective that you like, not only here at Yale SOM, School of Management, but also across all of our different graduate schools and professional schools, as well as the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences. So the entire university is open to you, which means that your opportunities are limitless, basically, to explore areas that you might not have been able to do before. Some examples listed here again are art, drama, environmental science, global affairs, music, history. These are all popular subjects that our students like to explore. But again, you could learn a new language. You could really pursue anything that you might be interested in during your time in the MAM program here. Or you can do both. You can take a deep dive into an area of interest as well as explore some other topics or areas of interest while you're here, just based on how much room you have in your schedule. So the MBA and the MAM program really give you the opportunity to combine the power of two. So you'll be getting 2 degrees across 2 different brands in 2 different countries, combining 2 different networks, all within 2 years. So in our Venn diagram, the circle on the left shows you lots of MBA schools across the world. We have partnerships with all of these schools and more. And you're also not limited just to these schools that are pictured here. But the point of this slide really is that you can take an MBA program from anywhere, add 1 year, add Yale School of Management to your network, to your brand, to your network, and really leverage both of those brands and networks, career development resources, and areas of expertise to leverage your own brand and your own knowledge to a global scale and to learn different perspectives from across the world. So we have concurrent degree programs with the schools that are listed on this slide, which means that you can take your MBA program and then add the Yale School of Management. So add some courses that you take here in your MAM program and transfer credits back to your MBA program. So we have agreements with all of these schools that would allow you to actually complete your MBA and the MAM program in less time than it would take you to complete the 2 degrees separately. Again, that's because you can transfer some credits that you'll take here at SOM back to your MBA program at your MBA school, and they will count those credits towards your MBA program. So again, it's a really great opportunity to kind of utilize both schools and both networks and maximize your time, and be able to complete both degrees in less amount of time than it would take to complete them separately. Here at Yale School of Management, mission really matters. I mentioned it a little bit earlier, but our mission is to educate leaders for business and society. And this is something that you will find present in every element of life here at Yale SOM. We're really aiming to develop leaders who are able to think broadly about the big issues that business leaders are facing today, and consider multiple perspectives in finding solutions to those problems. So, we're looking to bring together students who connect with this mission, who resonate with this mission, and who bring a deep sense of purpose into the work that they're doing. So, this makes SOM a really great community and a great environment to connect with students and faculty and others who are doing really amazing work across all disciplines. You'll also, of course, find alumni who are really connected um, and doing really amazing things that connect with our mission in advancing both business and society. So, again, we're looking for students who resonate with this mission and who are looking to develop in both business and society as well. So we on this slide, we'd like to give you a picture of the environment here at Yale SOM and all the different degree programs that we offer. So we do offer an MBA program. This is our largest degree program, and we recruit about 350 MBA students each year, and it's a 2-year program. So, in any given year, we have about 700 MBA students on campus. We also have an MBA for Executives program. This is a bit of a smaller program. It's also part-time, so students continue working, and they come to class every other weekend. So I think it's about Thursday through Saturday. Their classes are held here in New Haven. So our executive students will take some time off of work and come to New Haven and take part in this program in person as well. Our EMBA, our Executive MBA program, is also a 2-year program, and we have about 75 students per cohort. Today, we're talking about the Master of Advanced Management program. We generally have a class size of around 50 to 60 students. So it's a bit of a smaller cohort, which gives it a really nice kind of family feel. Students get to know each other really well. But you also have the opportunity to connect with students across all of these different degree programs in your elective classes. We have a small portfolio of Master in Management Studies degree programs. These tend to be a little bit earlier career, so students are on the younger side, have less work experience in general, and some of them tend to be a little bit more specific in their areas of focus. So we have a Master in Management Studies in Asset Management, Systemic Risk, Global Business and Society, Technology Management, and Public Education Management. And then we also have PhD students as well. So you can see the wide variety of students that are here on campus, really ranging between work experience levels and, of course, all different industries and interest areas as well. And I am now going to hand over to Matt to share a little bit more in detail about our curriculum.
Thanks, Evelyn. So let's talk about the MAM curriculum and some of those opportunities. So as you can see, there are only 2 required courses. Those are the topics in advanced management and then global leadership. So those make up the sort of light blue portion on your wheel there. Now, you have 36 units of elective credits, and the really neat part about this program is those credits can be used across Yale. So you can choose from more than 170 elective options at Yale SOM, or you can go to any of Yale's 12 other professional schools and the Graduate School of Arts and Sciences and look into programs or courses there. So you really end up having over 1,000 courses that you can kind of choose from, and that definitely is a lot. But this is kind of what Evelyn was mentioning about the opportunity to either dive deep into those topics that you're really passionate about or interested in learning more about, or going a little bit broader. Um, we'll show you a little bit more of kind of what that looks like. But this is how our students really are able to say, hey, I've learned all this about business. I'd really love to learn more about sustainability in business or how, global politics or global affairs in business and how that all works together. Or take classes at, say, School of Drama, learn a little bit more on, stage presence and getting up there and presenting while also learning a little bit more about maybe, how to work in the political sphere, the global affairs sphere, while also thinking about, what are the legal ramifications in business. So you have those opportunities, which is a really, really unique piece of this program. Now, with that, one of the other opportunities that we do always like to mention, the management science major, or I like to call it the STEM major, just for ease. So what this has, similar to, if you were not taking this, you have your 4 units of required courses in light blue, but then you also have 16 units of management science or STEM major courses. And you can select those from a list of about 26 elective options. You can see some of our popular ones listed there. And then you still actually have more than or actually, excuse me, you still have half of your credits as full electives that you can choose from, as mentioned, SOM or any of the other 12 schools in the Graduate School of Arts and Science at Yale. So at least half of your curriculum is going to be up to you whether you pick this program or not. One thing I will note, just because some people ask, you do have the ability to go above the 40 credits. That is the minimum. Just keep in mind, you like to have a good work-life balance and you want to do so many other great things at Yale. And then one thing I do want to note with this, normally you do end up with 1 year of OPT or optional practical training. With the management science major attached to your degree, you have the opportunity to qualify for an additional 2 year STEM extension, which means 3 years potentially of work permission in the US after graduation. This should not be the reason that you do the program is that 3 year STEM extension. It is just an opportunity that you can then apply for afterwards. There's no guarantee. But I just want to make note of that because this is really something that should be geared towards that person that is really passionate and interested in getting into the STEM field upon graduation. Now, as mentioned, we were kind of talking a little bit about, class choice and the opportunities there. So, I actually picked three of our students and just kind of broke down their programs a little bit and how they chose things. So, all of these are MAM students from this past year's cohort. But as you can see, all of them took kind of different pathways or different courses. So, you can see a number of different management courses listed. And the interesting thing, none of them are really the same. I think that's the really, really cool thing is they each chose management courses that fit with what they wanted to learn, what they needed to learn. So, you're going to see some for Ava where it's building a metaverse strategy, database systems, large language models. So kind of that tech area, which is really neat. And you can even see some of the computer science courses. I think it's really interesting. She took two law courses and then some classes at Jackson School as well as some in psychology and whatnot. With Alex, you see a number of management courses, but then you actually see, and I know it crosses into, I believe, law and one other program, but you can see housing in Connecticut, which is actually at the architecture school, as well as I believe it crosses over with the law school and whatnot. So super interesting course there. And then a couple other law courses, as well as a School of the Environment course and another school at Jackson School, as well as one on entrepreneurship and entrepreneurship. And then you see Kyle's program. So he did a little bit more management-based courses, computer science course, but then I think it's really interesting, and I always mention it because I know every year we get a couple students that like to take a couple different language courses, and Kyle actually got into Spanish a little bit and started learning a little Spanish. So this is just to give you an idea. These are three completely different students, all of them in the MAM program, but all of them really took different courses, different pathways while they were here, and really chose a program and a class selection that was going to help them be the best and be set up for success when they take that next step in their professional career. With that, just to give you a little bit of a breakdown of maybe what that week looks like. I know there are a lot of courses there. So this is kind of what your schedule could look like potentially. So classes are usually Monday through Thursday, and you're either going to have class twice a week or once a week, depending on the course. So you see them broken down a little bit there. But let's dive into some of the other pieces that kind of make up the full schedule. So you have your classes selected. Maybe you're going to have some meetings because you've joined a club. You want to join a couple of clubs, or maybe you're working on a group project, so you're going to see those listed there. Always good to meet with your professors. Maybe you're talking with one of the TAs or a tutor or something like that. Then I think it's really important to also talk about, your career. That is obviously a big piece of it. I think people are always wondering, about the career resources, and we'll talk about that in just a minute. But that's what Fridays are really dedicated for. As you can see here, Friday, there's no courses, no club meetings or other meetings, but it's really dedicated to sort of your career development. And whether that be meeting with a career coach, working in a workshop on, how to tell your story. Maybe you're interviewing with something or someone. Those are the opportunities that you should really take advantage of on Fridays. You can also take advantage of them throughout the week, But Friday is really set up so that you have that opportunity, you have that day that's just dedicated to that piece of your puzzle, if you will, while you're here. And then, of course, some personal time. I think it's always great to note. Definitely make sure you're getting in your lunch every day. But maybe you want to do a little yoga in the morning. I know we have a number of students that, whether they're a part of, I believe we have a yoga club, or I know we have a large group that does yoga and Pilates and whatnot in the morning. We also have a run club. But then maybe you get together with some of your classmates and you have dinner together. I know our MAM cohort, especially, is one that's very tight knit. And it's super interesting. They always usually get together for either dinner, or I know a few of them started a study group and they go around to all the different schools and study in each library, which is really neat. But then also don't forget about the things that are, I'm going to say, a little bit more fun. So maybe you take in a play at the theater, maybe you go to one of the museums or art galleries on campus. Make sure you make time to really get the full Yale experience that we're going to talk a little bit more about in just a minute. Don't let anything slip away in your 9 months to a year that you're in New Haven. So just to be brief, but the academic calendar, just to give you an idea of what the timeline looks like. So you start in August, and then classes start on August 27th after a 2-week mandatory orientation. We've got a couple breaks in there throughout the fall term, and then winter recess, you've got about a month for. Classes will pick up in the new year, early January. You do have a spring break that's usually about 2 weeks. And then before you know it, commencement is here in May, usually mid-May. The program does fly by. I think if you talk to most students, it starts out and they're like, oh man, like this, it feels like it starts a little slow and you're kind of getting into things and just getting adjusted. But then before you know it, I think if you ask most of our students, I can't believe it's October. We had orientation. It feels like just the other day. So it flies by, but definitely make sure you take advantage of all the opportunities and everything that Yale has to offer during, this time frame. Now, as we're talking about it, I know Evelyn mentioned usually we have a class of anywhere from about 50 to 60 students. And this year's class, right in the middle of that, 51 MBA graduates. And they actually come from 21 different MBA schools all around the globe. If you check out our website, you can see a number of those schools listed. But it's really amazing to see just how global this cohort is truly. And when you look at that, you see 96% of them are international passport holders. When you talk to them and hear how much traveling and all the different experiences, the places they've worked, it's unbelievable to really hear how global they are. And you can see that as well, 24 different countries of citizenship. And then I think it's always great to kind of get an idea. Our students come in with an average work experience of about 7 years, and that's the average. Some have more, some have a little less. Keep that in mind as you're, thinking about applying. That is the average, not the minimum. And then about 32 years old is the average age, with about 43% women in this year's cohort. So it's really nice to see those numbers. It's a very experienced group, and a really, really great group. It's been great getting to know them, and we can definitely, they'll be having their admissions ambassadors photos and profiles added very soon. So definitely check them out, get to know them a little bit more, reach out to them if you have any questions. So let's talk a little bit about community. I know Evelyn kind of touched on this earlier, but I think the community here at Yale is, one of the best out there. When we're talking about, the speaker series, the speakers that come to campus and the topics that they talk about, Yale tries to be at the forefront of many discussions, and whether that's, business, politics, global affairs, they really try to bring in people that can talk to our students and really share insights onto, what the landscape looks like today, tomorrow, and, even down the road potentially. So it's really great to see that. And they come from all different areas. We've had everyone from the president of Ghana who came and spoke, to Stella McCartney, who is a world-renowned fashion designer, to, Fortune 500 CEOs of like Pepsi. So it's really a diverse group of people from all different industries and backgrounds that come and speak with our students. And I think that just adds to the experience, adds to the opportunities. We've got a lot of different events going on campus. The Yale Harvard football game is one that I know a lot of our students love to get out for. It's definitely a very American thing, but a lot of fun to be a part of that. Fempire is another one, our female empowerment and female management event. It's just such a cool event to see, one, all of the female entrepreneurs and businesswomen that we have here at Yale SOM, but then also all of the ones that come back and support the current cohort of students and want to share their knowledge, want to share their experience, and help them take those next steps and transform the world. I think the Yale conferences, every week it seems like there's a different conference, whether it's AI, technology, sustainability, philanthropy. There is something going on every week. I think there are so many really cool conferences to get involved with. I definitely recommend you look into those a little bit and see if there's any that pique your interest. And then some fun ones. As noted, the SOM Talent Show, I think, is always a highlight. You get to see a lot more of, some of the staff and faculty that, while they're a great professor or a great member of the SOM community, you really get to see some cool talents highlighted, as well as some of our student talents. And then, of course, the SOM Club Fair. I know Evelyn mentioned we've got about 50 or 60 different clubs on campus that are officially recognized. I know there's a few unofficial ones, but it's really cool to see just all the different clubs and communities that you can kind of get involved with while you're here. And I think my biggest recommendation on that, look into them, try and find at least one professional club and one, I tend to call it a personal club, but find a club that's just for you. Maybe you're interested in dance or yoga or music. There are so many different clubs that you can get involved with. And I think it's definitely worth, finding those friends and finding those clubs that, are really going to get you excited and help you enjoy your time here at Yale SOM. Just a little bit more of some of the sights and scenes as well. If you have the opportunity to stop by, definitely let us know that you're going to be in New Haven. But some of the spots that we'd recommend checking out or some of the sites around campus, the Beinecke Rare Book and Manuscript Library, that's a big one. Over 1.5 million documents, manuscripts, artifacts, unbelievable place to check out and see in person. Well worth stopping into the Yale Art Gallery, Yale Farm, just so many amazing places. If you stop at Yale SOM, right across the street is actually the Peabody Museum. Definitely another one I'd recommend. Sterling Memorial Library, which you can actually see in the background of the next photo of the Yale courtyard. It's just a beautiful time of year, especially. I think that picture was probably a little bit more in the spring or late fall. But it's a great time right now, having all the leaves start to change colors, and it's an absolutely beautiful campus. I think anyone that's seen it, if you talk with our students, it's a beautiful campus to be on. You can feel the history as you walk around, and it's something we try to tell our students, take a second to really breathe it in and just, take in where you're at, all the history, all the people that have come before you, and all the people that are going to come after you. So really enjoy that. So one other thing that I know we touched on it, but Fridays being a career day, let's talk a little bit about careers and some of the resources and whatnot. So we do have a career development office that is really dedicated to supporting all of our students. They treat all of our students the same. The only difference is, some of our students, obviously our MAMs have a little more experience. Some of our other cohorts may have a little less. So they try to work with you, I'm going to say on your level. If you're a little bit more experienced, you're going to be looking at different jobs than some of our other cohorts. So they really try to work with you and help you get set up for success when it comes time to recruit. How do they do that? Workshops are one of the biggest things. Working on, writing an effective resume or cover letter, working with you on mock interviews, crafting your story, really helping you explain and set yourself up so that when you get into that interview, you can answer all their questions, you're prepared and ready to, tackle their problems and, set them up for success. They also have a number of other things like on-campus recruiting, employment databases, designated career support, as I mentioned. They'll work with you one-on-one or in a group, depending on what the situation is. But they really they try to tailor things to each student to really help set them up for success. And what does that lead to? Really, global careers. Our students end up all around the globe, and it's super interesting to see just where they end up. BCG, Google, Microsoft, Amazon, a few of the big names to mention there. But the really neat thing, especially with our MAM cohort, it's not just, global careers at these companies, but we do have a lot of students that end up going into entrepreneurship and really, starting their own ventures and really, starting things off for themselves. And they do it everywhere: North America, South America, Asia, Europe, Africa, Australia. It's really, really cool to see, students all across the globe, and love keeping in touch and hearing all the cool things that they're doing. And I know we love to catch up with our alumni when we're visiting any of these places or any of our partner schools. So, and then some of the industries that our students got into this past year: technology, government, consulting, obviously some of the big ones, finance, and then manufacturing, especially in transportation, has seemed to be a really big one the past year or two, which is really cool to kind of see and hear more about from our students. So, just to give you a little insight into our careers, we can obviously talk about more of that if needed. But I believe I'm going to pass it back over to Evelyn to talk a little bit about the pathways and application now.
Yes, thank you, Matt. That was a really helpful overview of lots of different elements of our program, and hopefully now we've got you interested in our program. And so let's talk a little bit more about the application process. Um, so as Matt mentioned, there are a few different pathways that can lead you to the MAM program. And the one that's right for you is really depending on where you are in your academic journey. So we have three kind of different buckets here that we're going to talk about. The first is if you are thinking about applying to an MBA. So you don't yet have an MBA program that you have enrolled in. That's the first bucket. The second one is if you are currently enrolled in an MBA program. And the third is if you are a graduate of an MBA program. So let's talk through each of these a little bit more specifically. So if this first one is you're still thinking about applying, then you actually have the opportunity to apply to the MAM program at the same time as you apply to an MBA program. We have partnerships with schools across the world. So Asia School of Business, ASEC Business School, HEC Paris, and UBC Sauder, where you can actually apply to your MBA and the MAM at the same time. So the way that this would work is you would first apply to the MBA school. You would indicate your interest in the MAM program with your MBA application. And then we would be in touch directly with the MBA school. We would both process your applications to our individual programs separately. But we're in close communication with the partner schools the entire time. So you will actually be able to know whether you get into the MBA and the MAM at the same time in the same admissions year. And so this is really helpful for students to be able to plan out, both years, both programs all in advance at the same time. So that's definitely something, a pathway to think about as you are considering applying to an MBA program. If you are already enrolled in an MBA program or you have graduated from an MBA program, you can apply to the MAM program directly. So again, something to think about here is those concurrent degree programs that I was mentioning earlier. So we have concurrent degree programs with lots of different schools across the world. So if you're already enrolled in one of those schools in your MBA, this is a great opportunity to apply to the MAM program and have some of those credits transfer back from the MAM back towards your MBA. And again, graduate from both programs in a shorter amount of time than it would take you to do both programs individually. If you have already graduated from an MBA program, that's also great. We would welcome your application to the MAM program directly. And all of these pathways lead you to the MAM. It truly doesn't matter to us which of these pathways you come through. We are just looking to gather the best and the brightest students from MBA programs across the world. So there's no advantage, not one of them is advantageous across the other. Again, it really just depends on where you are in your academic journey and if you have begun or have completed an MBA program or not yet. So let's talk in a little more detail about the application itself. It's an online application, and here are all of the requirements for the application. So we will want to see your academic transcripts, and we'll need these from all degree granting institutions. So if you have done a semester abroad, if you've done an exchange, if you transferred from one school to another in your undergrad, all of those transcripts would be necessary to include in your application. And of course, this really helps us to get a picture of your academic history and your ability as well. We'd also like to see a resume. Please keep it short. 2 pages is our maximum, so please try and consolidate all of your work experience into 2 pages so that we can really get a sense quickly of what you've not been up to professionally. A GMAT or a GRE test score is a requirement. We sometimes get asked if we can waive this test requirement. Unfortunately, the answer is no. We only accept the GMAT and the GRE, and this is something that's required for your score or for your application. We also require a letter of recommendation from a professional source. This should be written by somebody who knows you well. Their title is less important than being able to really talk in detail about what it was like to work with you, what your career potential is, what your goals are, those types of things. So think about, a recent supervisor. It doesn't have to be from the job you're working at now, but somebody who you've worked with recently and who knows you really well and can write a great recommendation letter for you. Also, this letter of recommendation has to come directly from your recommender. You may not upload it yourself, it has to come directly from them. It also has to come from their professional email address. So please don't use Hotmail or Gmail or QQ. Any of those personal email addresses we would not accept. So please have your recommender submit it directly from their professional email address. We also require a letter of support from the dean or director of your MBA program. So, of course, if you fall into that first category of students who are still thinking about applying to an MBA program but are not yet enrolled, this would, of course, be waived for you because you don't yet have a dean or director of your MBA program. We also have essays as part of our application. I think we have 3 essay questions that are about 250 or 300 words, so pretty short, and then an extra little fun one that's super short, I think about 50 words this year. So 4 in total, but again, none of them are particularly long. These are just a good opportunity for us to get to know you better. We also have video questions. So these are a little bit different. You will submit your application through our website. And then about 24 hours or sometimes perhaps a little bit longer later, you'll receive a link to the video questions. The video questions are meant to be fun, so don't worry about them. You don't need to prepare for them at all. There are no right or wrong answers, but they're really an opportunity for us, again, to get to know you better and to have you as an applicant kind of come alive off of the page and show us who you really are, show us how you think about problems. Yeah, it's a great opportunity for us to get to know you a bit. There's a $95 application fee, and then if you make it to the next stage of the application, you will be invited to interview over Zoom. So there's never any requirement to travel to New Haven or to travel at all for an interview. All of them will be held remotely over Zoom. Our application is now open, so you can begin working on your application today. We have 4 rounds this year to submit your application. The first round this year has been moved up to December 1st. This round 1 is only open to our global network for advanced management partner schools. So if you are a current student or an alumni of a global network school, you are invited to apply in our round 1, which has a deadline of December 1st. After that, we have rounds 2, 3, and 4 in January, February, and March, which are open to students from any business school across the world. Global Network Partner Schools are also welcome to apply in any of these future rounds, but we do reserve round 1 just for our Global Network Partner Schools. Just to quickly mention, which round we would recommend you apply in. We always recommend applying in the round in which your application is going to be the strongest. So if you would like to retake a test, or if you think it would be helpful, to spend a little bit longer working on your essays, anything like that, then those might be good reasons to wait until a later round. If everything's going to be the same, you don't need to retake a test, you have all your letters of recommendations lined up and, everything being equal, we would always recommend applying earlier rather than later, just so that you have more time to get your visa and to get everything lined up, ready for you to move to New Haven in early to mid-August. Affording your MAM. So we definitely know that this program is an investment, but it's an investment in you and it's an investment in your future. We also have several different funding options available. We do have merit scholarships, which are available to all admitted students automatically. So you don't need to submit any additional documentation. We have everything we need to assess your merit with your application materials itself. You will be awarded merit scholarships right with your decision letter. So as soon as you are admitted into the program, you will know how much merit scholarship you've been awarded, if any. From there, you will have the opportunity to apply for additional need-based scholarship if applicable to you. You would do that by submitting a quick application process for additional need scholarships. And then we generally turn those around pretty quickly within about a week or so of the deadline, which is within 2 weeks of your decision release. So you'll know pretty quickly how much funding you will have available through scholarship money from Yale. And then our students often work with our international student loan providers as well. So we definitely have opportunity to help you fill any remaining funding gaps that you might have after you've received your scholarships. We also have some on-campus student employment opportunities. These are not going to pay your tuition, honestly, and there's generally a cap on the number of hours that international students can work just based on your visa restrictions. But it's a great opportunity to earn your pocket money. It could help pay your rent. There are teaching assistant opportunities available and multiple other student jobs available on campus. So this can be an option to help supplement um, your your financial package for the MAM program. We are super excited to share with you our podcast that we recorded last year. So follow this QR code for a bit more information or to listen to our podcast episodes. But our MAM Admissions Unplugged podcast is pretty fun. We have lots of guest speakers on there, both from across different departments. At SOM, for example, we have somebody from our student life team. We have an episode with our career development office, and we have some alumni on there. We have current students talking about their involvement at the school. And we also have some episodes just dedicated to the program and to the application process itself as well. So we really encourage you to take a listen, and hopefully, this will help you get a better sense of life at SOM and the MAM program as well. And yeah, we're excited to share it with you today. So with that, we're going to leave some time to answer your questions live. If you have any questions, please use the Q&A feature in the chat now. And as those are coming in, I just wanted to share two more QR codes with you. The first one on the left will take you to our website, which of course has lots more information about our programs and some of our student ambassadors, as Matt was talking about earlier. So please feel free to check out our website, and there's lots more information there. I'm also going to ask my colleague Elena, who's working her magic behind the scenes, to paste our recent brochure into the chat as well. So please feel free to download that as well, and you'll find some more information there too. Then we wanted to make sure to mention our upcoming events as well. So we're going to be having a Q&A session this Thursday, and these are fun kind of small group sessions that we are doing monthly this year. So the Q&A session, you can use the QR code here to register for. It's more of an informal, again, small group opportunity to connect with a member of our admissions team. So our whole team kind of takes turns hosting these events. Again, it'll be once a month. We really encourage participants to turn on their cameras and just ask any questions candidly that you might have to our admissions committee members, and we're happy to help answer those questions live in our Q&A session. So again, the next one is coming up this week, this Thursday at 9 o'clock Eastern time. So this same time in a couple of days' time, and we'd love to see you there and answer any questions you might have. So now, if you have any questions, please feel free to, again, enter them into the chat. Matt and I will do our best to answer them live here. But I've also put up our email address on the screen, which is advanced.management@yale.edu. Feel free to always email us there. We're happy to answer questions, connect with candidates, um, you know, answer whatever questions you might have over email if we don't get to them today as well. But okay, thanks, Elena, for posting that brochure. Hopefully you can all download that. Let's see what questions we have coming in. And we do have some pre-submitted questions that we'll try and get to today as well if we haven't already answered those. So thanks in advance for submitting those as well. Okay, great. The first one, let's see, what career opportunities are provided to students, and how does this curriculum differ from other programs? So um, career opportunities are a really individual path that students might like to take. So um, it depends on you, of course, and on your work experience and the direction that you'd like to go. But as Matt was mentioning earlier, we have a really great career development office who really has one focused career coach who is focused on the MAM program. So students are always welcome to make appointments and connect as many times as you would like to with your career coach to really talk through the different opportunities available to you, different industries you might like to pursue. They're constantly hosting workshops and small group opportunities, as well as one-on-one sessions, particularly on those Fridays, like Matt was mentioning. Um, so there's lots of opportunities there with the Career Development Office, and they have a really vast network um, connecting with, lots of different industries and professionals all over the world, as well as all of our alumni all over the world as well. So there's a really exciting opportunity to take your career to the next level um, and yeah, enter any industry that might be of interest to you. But our alums really go into lots of different industries. Many also pursue non-traditional paths in the nonprofit sector, in government, I think we've recently had an alum go into an art museum director role. So there's lots of different pathways that students can take. And while we have many pursuing traditional pathways, there's lots of other ones as well.
I'm seeing a question here. I'm kind of asking if there's any time limit between MBA and MAM, and I know we had a couple questions about kind of age in some of the pre-submitted. So there really isn't a timeline between your MBA and MAM. The thing is, you want to make sure that you have the MBA sort of fresh in your mind or fresh enough. Now that being said, we understand people are utilizing a lot of their knowledge and skills. I think the one thing that we would highlight if that's the case, is this is not an MBA refresher, or this isn't a refresher degree. This is, to add on to your MBA degree. So it's always good to have it fresh. Usually we say, within about 3 years is a good time frame. But we have had students that, they've been a little bit older, they've, had a few more years in between their MBA and their MAM degree, and they've found value, they've found success in the program. And as to age, I think someone, if I'm not mistaken, they had said they were about 36. Our oldest student this year, I believe, is 44 years old. So we've definitely had students and have students that are a bit more experienced, and that is perfectly fine. I think when it comes down to your application, it's really what are you looking to gain? What are you looking to get out of the program? How can the MAM help you take that next step in your career? So if you can find that, then that is exactly what we want to see in the application. The age piece of it is really just a number at that point.
Yeah, agree. Thanks, Matt. We have another question here about like an English reinforcement program before entering the MAM program. So this is a great question. We do not have a requirement for a TOEFL score or anything like that as part of our application. But of course, it is important that candidates have a level of English that's going to be appropriate to complete a rigorous academic program completely in English. So there is, I believe, through Yale, an an English program offered the summer before, that would be a separate application process that you would need to look into. But that is a possibility that you could do to kind of study um, to brush up on any English skills beforehand as well. But we would really recommend doing that probably starting now. If you're planning to apply to the program, it would definitely be good to kind of be focusing on making sure that your English ability is going to be um, up to being able to complete a rigorous academic program focused on in English.
Uh, and I'm seeing a question here in the Q&A. When do you think it would be the best time to apply after completing our MBA program? Question mark. So, um, I think that really is on a person-to-person basis. There are several different times that you can apply. Before you've even started your MBA program, you're able to apply to one of our M2M partner schools as well as us, and kind of find out what do the next 2 years look like there potentially with, another school and then Yale. You also have the ability to, while you're working on your MBA, apply for the program. And then the opportunity once you've graduated. I think it's really figuring out, you know, what do you need? And the way that I try to explain this is, that could be while you're going through your MBA program, maybe you're looking at it and you're saying, I've gotten all this business knowledge, but it's all business. I want a little bit more sustainability, or I want a little bit more global affairs, law, whatever that may be. That's your topic. And so if you know that you want more of that, then the time to apply may be while you're, either looking at applying to your MBA or while you're in your MBA. But maybe you complete your MBA and you're kind of like, I know there's more that I could learn. I'm not sure what that is. Then maybe take a year or two, maybe do some internships, do some work, figure out what it is that is missing from your repertoire, figure out what you could add to your tool belt that's going to help you find success. And then maybe that's the right time to apply. Once you know what you don't know, then you can go about finding the courses. And then I would say, if you're maybe a little bit more experienced, I would say go through our, list of elective courses and take a look and see if there are courses that, one, interest you, but two, you feel are going to add value to your experience and knowledge and, educational experience so far. I think that's always something that people ask about, especially once they have a little bit of experience. And it's really figuring out what, is there something here that's going to add value? And then when it comes down to, the rounds, as Evelyn mentioned, I think, earlier is definitely can be helpful when it comes to visa and figuring out housing and all that stuff. But make sure that your application is at its best. Just because you apply in round one doesn't guarantee you admission. It doesn't guarantee you scholarship, all of that. That's something that, when you put together your best application and put that in, that's going to give you the best opportunity to be admitted and to get scholarship money and all of that stuff.
Thanks, Matt. And yeah, as Matt mentioned, we have slots available and we have scholarship money in all four of our application rounds. So don't feel that, you absolutely have to apply in round one or in round two if you're a non-GNAM school student. Um, in order to get a scholarship or anything like that. The most important thing is to apply when your application is going to be the strongest. And then again, all things being equal, earlier is always better, just so that you know and you have more time to get everything all in a row to prepare for your move here. So again, I see a question here about help with the visa application. Um, of course, we will be sponsoring your visa and we'll be working closely with you as you apply for your visa. But the visa application is really going to be driven by you. But of course, we'll be supporting you through that process as well. Um, Quickly, I see another question here about how our program differs from from Harvard's advanced management program. I think the big difference between these programs is that this is a degree program, and so it's basically a year-long or a 9-month program where you will graduate as an alumni from Yale University. You'll join our uh, alumni network and you'll have a degree from Yale. And to my knowledge, the Harvard program is a shorter program. It's a 3-month program, and I believe it's only a certificate program. So it's a bit of a different undertaking in that way. I see another question here about the biggest challenge that MAM students face, and how successful students navigate that. And I think that's a great question. Maybe I'll give my take on it, Matt, and then you can chime in if
Yeah.
you think I miss anything or if you have a different idea about this one. But I would actually mention two things here. I think the first one, I think we mentioned it a little bit earlier when we were talking about our careers or when Matt was sharing some information about our careers. Some of our students like to pursue work here in the United States after graduation, which of course can be a great opportunity. Each year we do have students who choose to pursue work in the US. But this can be a challenge for students. Again, it's a very short program. It's 9 months. And there's no guarantees. You know, there are lots of variables that you can't control, that we can't control. And so we just like to be really clear up front that there is no guarantee of work in the United States after the program finishes. And so this should be something that, of course, you are welcome to pursue here as an MAM student and alum. But you should also be, pursuing or considering carefully a plan B, a plan C, a plan D, and just making sure you keep your options open so that you find something that you're really happy with when the program is complete. Um, for those students who also are, really considering working in the US after graduation, remember to keep an open mind as well. You know, the US is not just limited to New York and San Francisco. There are lots of great places to work in the US and lots of great industries as well. So, really just make sure that you keep an open mind and again are considering multiple different career paths or options, so that you're really coming out of the program with something that you're feeling really happy and excited about. The second one I would actually say as a challenge for an MAM student is time management. And that's because there are so many great opportunities, whether it's great classes to take, great events to join, great speakers to hear from, conferences to lead, places to travel to. There are just so many things to do. Um, on any given day, honestly, that it's really important for students to carefully manage their time so that you don't burn out. And so I think the best way to tackle this, and the way that I've seen students, most successfully do this is really think carefully about your priorities before joining the program. So you're really clear on, where you're wanting to spend your time and your energy, and your focus before you get here. And that will make that decision-making process easier, when you're in the thick of it and you've got lots of demands on your time. So that's probably how I would answer that question. But Matt, I don't know if you have any other ideas or opinions on that.
I think both of those would have been my main ones. I think one small one I'd add. Um, I think a lot of students think, or a lot of prospective students think, getting into Yale is the hardest thing and is the hardest part. Getting into Yale is definitely the easy part. I think if you ask our students, you know, everyone knows Yale is a very academically rigorous school, but make sure you understand like the getting in is the easy part. Once you're here, you have classes, you've got to pass those classes. I think our students work hard, but I think this is just a general sentiment that sometimes people underestimate that. I would also say, just on a small note, I think doing as Evelyn mentioned, kind of the time management, make sure that you're getting things done. You know, when our career development office reaches out the summer before you arrive, start working on those items. Start thinking about the classes that you want to take so that as you're kind of getting to all of those checkpoints in your timeline, you're able to, okay, I have my list of classes ready to go. I'm ready to, get into that. Well, I'm ready for, to start working on recruiting. I'm ready for, as you do that, it's going to make life so much easier and it just kind of makes the whole journey a lot easier.
Yeah, thanks, Matt. Okay, I see we only have 1 minute left, and I have two more questions that I'd really love to try and get in, if we can. So I'm gonna try and fly through them. But the first one, somebody's asking about Sci-City and the Yale Venture Lab and opportunities for entrepreneurs to kind of grow. their resources or actively launch or scale a startup during the program. So this is definitely an area of interest that we see really often, and many of our students are looking to get more involved in our entrepreneurial space. And I really want to give a plug to an upcoming event that we don't have a date for yet, but we have an alumni panel webinar that we're putting together. And we're actually inviting some students who have been really involved in the entrepreneurial space here at Yale, and one who's even launched a venture after the program has completed as well. So um, that session will be coming up either at the end of October or the beginning of November. We're still working on scheduling it, so I don't have a date to share with you today, but please keep an eye out for that. Of course, we'd encourage you to register live, but even if you're not able to attend live, the event will be recorded and we'll share it on our website and our YouTube channel. And if you've registered, you'll be emailed a recording of that session as well. So definitely make sure to check that one out because they will be able to talk to that better than me. The other one, I see we're right at time, but I'm gonna go there really quickly, and hopefully you have another minute or two. Somebody's asking about qualities or experiences that distinguish successful MAM applicants. So this is a really great question. We can talk through really briefly what we're looking for in the application and how to stand out. So we take a really holistic approach to reviewing applications, and we're really looking for the whole package. So of course, we're looking for academic excellence. We're going to be looking at your transcripts and your grades from your MBA as well as your undergrad, and your test score will be kind of how we assess your academic ability. But we're also looking at your work experience. We're looking at your goals. We're looking at your mission connection. Like we mentioned, that's something that's important to us. And really just your ability to add to our community here at Yale SOM. So again, there's a multitude of ways to stand out as as an applicant. Um, Leadership experience or international experience are also things that we look at. So again, we really look at the whole picture and not just any one specific area. So if there's any area that you are not as, confident in your application, then really just take heart in that it's going to be reviewed holistically and taken into consideration with all other elements of your application. So hopefully that helps to give an idea of how we approach selecting candidates for the MAM program. So with that, we are right at time. I'm going to mention again our email address on the screen here at advanced.management@yale.edu. Please feel free to email us at any time. If we didn't get to your question today, apologies, but please send it to us in an email and we'd be happy to address it with you there. Thank you so much, everybody, for taking the time to learn more about the MAM program today. It's been great to share with you. Hopefully, we'll see you either this Thursday or at another Q&A session coming up soon. Um, Thanks so much, everybody. Great to see you all.